I'm Max Guernsey with Producore. For decades, I've helped developers master test-driven development, design patterns, refactoring, and more. In this video, I want to talk to you about refactoring. Here's some code that chooses the starting player for a board game. It tries to choose the weaker player most of the time, but sometimes it's still going to choose the stronger player. The problem with this code is that it's not testable because it's coupled to a random number generator. This is a good proxy for any kind of coupling that might impede testability. We need a better design. We need to be able to substitute the random number generator and replace it for the purpose of tests. The problem is that our bad design prevents us from writing tests, and we have no tests to protect us while we change the design. So we're going to need a different approach, and that approach is true transformative refactoring. Step one is to extract the behavior we want to be able to substitute into its own method. That allows us to move it around and manipulate it in later refactoring steps. First, I'll introduce a variable. That'll make it easier to create a parameter when I'm extracting my method. Next, I'll use extract method to automatically create the method that I need. Once I've done that, I can inline the variable. The next step is to create a new class and move the behavior there. First, I'm going to use introduce parameter to move the data I need into the signature of this method. Then I'll use transform parameters to emerge the class I need from the signature of the method. This will create a new class. I'll use inline variable to clean things up, and then make method non-static to move the behavior where it belongs. In order to inject a test substitute for dice, we're going to need to make the choose class non-static. I start by getting rid of the static keyword so that I can create a new instance of the choose class. Once I have that, I can use it as a parameter to the starting player method, and then I can use that parameter as a target for make method non-static. I get rid of a little bit of cruft, and then I introduce a parameter for the dice instance that I want to inject. Finally, we'll encapsulate our dice class behind an interface. I do this using the extract interface refactoring, making sure that I select the correct method. And once I've done that, I use base type where possible. Take a look at what I've done. The behavior is identical to the way it was before the transformation. I know this because each individual step preserved behavior, so the entire sequence must have done so as well. The only actual difference is that the design is now testable. A test can mock out iDice and control what a die roll will be for a particular scenario. This always works. It does not matter if it's the system clock or an external service or integration with hardware, or even if the thing that's standing in your way is not coupling. If you have a design problem that's stopping you from writing tests, refactoring is the solution. A transformative approach to changing design will also transform your career. You'll be able to work confidently and safely on the nastiest legacy code you can imagine. You can take code that has no tests and is untestable and transform that code so that you can test it and then retrofit it with tests. You can take code and make it ready for new behaviors. You don't have to shove something into an existing design anymore. You can safely prepare tests for new designs without worrying about whether or not you're going to break them or make them lose their function. I'm Max Guernsey with Producore. If you're interested in learning more, check out our refactoring class using the link in the comments.